excited for today's video. It is time for my annual mega major makeup collection declutter video. As you can see, we've got a lot going on. I have a lot of work ahead of me, and I am just excited to dive in and declutter this so everything fits nicely in the drawers. There's no more disorganization. Now, if you're new to my channel here, I do review makeup for a living. I hold on to things that as a normal person, I wouldn't normally hold on to for potential future video ideas, etc. So if you're here for a major declutter video where I'm gonna throw away half the products, that's not the case here. It's really just a great way to deep dive into my collection, get reviews, because I've tried almost everything. So for today's video, I'm actually breaking it up this year into sections, and we're gonna start off with the category that I think everybody loves the most: high-end and luxury foundations and concealers. So that's gonna be my focus for the declutter today, which is gonna be these drawers right here, and then I also have a little unit here of all of my high-end and luxury foundations. So if you want to see what I end up holding on to, what I love, what I don't love, and a bunch of mini reviews, stay tuned. The reason I'm breaking it up this year, obviously, besides it being an absolute mammoth of a task, I am 8 months pregnant. So I don't think I have the stamina to do this all in one video like I have in previous years. So this year, the declutter is going to be spread out for your enjoyment. And then when I'm on maternity leave, I'll put all the videos together. If you really love that hours-long declutter in the background, that will be coming up in a few months. But for now, we're breaking it up. Let's get started. High-end and luxury foundations and concealers. I love my foundation bar, but I'm just going to put everything in the bins and we're going to lay it all out so I can really look at and see what I'm working with. Plus, she could use a little dusting. Okay, so here are all of my high-end and luxury foundations. I still have like skin tints and other stuff in other drawers, but this is everything that was on my little foundation drawer. So let's do this. We'll start up here, I suppose. So first we have the Polite Society foundation, which is new to me, so I'm gonna keep this. Most of this, you know, I'm gonna keep. I love a good foundation. Now this cream foundation from Wayne Goss Beauty is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. However, you know, Wayne Goss makeup line no longer exists, so due to work purposes, I am going to declutter this, but I do love this foundation. And if he ever comes back out with his makeup line, I need this in my life, nice and fresh. So we'll declutter that. This is one of my all-time favorite foundations from Fenty Beauty. This is their Soft Lit foundation, and I use these so much, I simply need all of these shades. So that is a keep. Going to keep Luminous Silk, one of my favorites. One of my all-time favorites is my Dior Stick Foundation, so I'm gonna keep that. As you can see, I have two Too Faced Born This Way's foundation. One is a new formula, one is the old formula, so I'm gonna get rid of the old formula. I have one of my favorite foundations from Hourglass, the Soft Glow foundation. Now I have one shade that's really dark, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter the shade that doesn't match me. And if you're wondering why I'll have so many shades that don't match, or a couple of different shades of the same foundation, it's because I receive a lot of these in PR. So a lot of times they'll send multiple shades and then I have to mix to end up with my perfect shade. But anyways, this is not my perfect shade, so that one will go. I guess the ones I'm keeping, I'll just lay back here for now. Very Valentino. I really love this foundation. I think it's super underrated. I'm going to keep that. I absolutely love my Chanel Le Beige. It's that crazy one with all of the balls. Look at that, but I really, really love this one. It feels like water on the skin, but it gives good coverage. It's amazing. Louboutin. Now you know I paid an arm and a leg for this Louboutin, so even if it were expired, I'm keeping it. And keep in mind, all of these are brands that I review a lot, so I want to keep their formula in my collection to have and compare. For example, I have the Say foundation right here that I need to keep to review for Say. I love this Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Foundation. It's super full coverage as well. Dior has my all-time favorite foundations. So of course, you know, I'm always restocking and replacing these because I love them. I think last year I did a full in-depth rundown of all the Dior foundations. If there's someplace you want to start with foundations, it needs to be Dior. They are simply the best. The Prada foundation is quite nice as well. I do like this one a lot. Going to hold on to my Gucci foundation. And if you know me, you know I've been loving the Jane Iredale foundation for a while now. I actually just used it the last 3 days in a row. So this one is definitely being worn. However, the shade light medium is a little too deep for me, so I'm going to give that one away. I really do not like this Patrick Ta foundation, and I would declutter it if I didn't need it for review purposes. I don't recommend that. Look at this relic that I have. This is expired beyond belief. Dior, why did you get rid of this? I don't care. I'm keeping it. Then we have the new Benefit foundation that came out this year. Even though I'm not the world's biggest fan of this, I find it to be okay, but nothing special. I keep it because it's Benefit. The LYS foundation is really good. I also do have the foundation sticks as well. I feel like they can put together a very nice foundation. So I will hold on to these. Now this is actually one of my very first foundations ever that I got when I was a teenager and breaking out all the time. I always love to keep these on hand because they're so natural from Chantecaille. These are their gel foundations and so breathable, but I do have an older formula, which is going to be the one that doesn't have the C on the top. So definitely keeping my two. I love those. These are literally precious liquid gold, but I'll get rid of the old formula. I also have a very popular, very lovely foundation from House Labs, their Triclone Skin Tech. This one I think is older and is starting to oxidize, so definitely want to get that one out of the collection, but light warm is the better shade match for me anyways. This foundation from Bobbi Brown is a bit on the dry side. It's not an all-time favorite of mine. I do have a classic here, Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place. I have my summer shade and my winter shade. So I love to have these in my collection. They're a staple. This is still the longest lasting foundation on the market. There's no question about it. So keeping these. Who knows what's going on with KVD Beauty, but one thing I will say is I love this foundation. So for personal reasons, even though I probably don't need it anymore, I'm keeping them because it's very hydrating, it's very full coverage. I mix both of these shades. Actually, no, I don't mix them anymore because I'm lighter now. So I'm gonna get rid of the darker shade and I'll keep this one, but this is such a good foundation. This sitting on top, do you guys remember? This is Samantha Ravindal's brand, Auric. It's her Glow Lust Radiant Luminizer. It's a beautiful product. It's like a more natural Charlotte Tilbury highlighter, but it is old at this point, so I'm going to unfortunately have to get rid of that. I have Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear, a very long-lasting full coverage foundation as well. I'm taking a look. I definitely mix both of these shades. This is like Estee Lauder Double Wear, a little bit thinner, but I really like this one. This is another great classic foundation. YSL All Hours, going to have to hold on to this one. This is even thinner, but again, a very full coverage long wear foundation. I see I have my two Makeup Forever foundations, and these are very, very nice. Now, the HD Skin used to be an all-time favorite of mine. I wouldn't say that's the case anymore, but these are still such a reliable foundation, and I also have the Hydra Glow, which I actually would argue I like a little bit more, but it really does leave a super duper glowy finish, and then this one is a little bit more natural. Super duper underrated, underappreciated. This is a pretty affordable foundation. I love the About Face Performer foundation. I think that this is an incredible Skin-like medium coverage comfortable foundation, and I have the two shades because I wear this in the summer and in the winter. So I have two NARS foundations here. NARS is known for their foundations. I'm actually going to declutter both of these. Now, the Soft Matte Complete Foundation just isn't fantastic for my skin. I find it to be really heavy and dry on my skin. And this is old anyway, so I can get rid of it. And then the Light Reflecting is actually my favorite of all of the NARS foundations. So if you want a recommendation from NARS, this is it. I actually am going to repurchase this and just get rid of this one because it's not the best shade for me and it's on the older side. So I'm going to get rid of this, but it will be replaced because I need it in my collection. The Makeup by Mario foundation, this is really nice. This is the original. I like this one better than the newer one, which is probably in another one of my makeup drawers. This I think is better for dry skin, and then the other one is better for oily skin. Smashbox Always On foundation. This is like an average foundation. I don't really have too much to say about it, to be honest. I don't dislike it at all. I think it's fine. It's just sitting in a sea of other amazing foundations, so I do think I can pass this one on. I have two Huda Beauty foundations. I love the Easy Blur. This one was on Black Friday sale. It is so, so good. And then Luminous Matte, I'm gonna hold on to. Do they still sell it, actually? If they don't, I don't need it. So actually, I think I can go ahead and get rid of this one. It's still on the Huda Beauty website, but it's no longer sold at Sephora. So I think this is a foundation that they may be phasing out. And it's not even that good of a shade on me anyways. So I'm going to get rid of that, but I'm definitely holding on to this. I always love to keep an Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint in my collection because I love to mix this with heavier, stickier, thicker foundations, and it just thins it out beautifully. So we'll always have one of these in my collection. Love, love, love this Laura Mercier foundation. It's super long lasting. And you know what? The Rem is really, really good. It's very similar to the House Labs. I see I have two of the Lawless Forget the Filler foundations, which these are okay. I don't think they're game-changing foundations, but this one is way too dark for me. So I'm just going to hold on to the one. And this is quite the full coverage perfecting foundation from ABH. It's decent. I don't reach for it too much, but it's a decent product. We have the One Size Full Beat Liquid Foundation, and it is just that. A full beat foundation. Keeping that. The Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow is very, very nice. It's a little bit glowier than the original Teint Idole. I don't really... This is still good, it is. I don't really love the Westman Atelier foundation, if I'm being honest with you guys. But I do keep it because I review Westman Atelier, but it's not my favorite. We have the Hourglass foundation stick, which used to be so, so viral back in the day. I do think it is a bit thick for me. I like to mix it with that Ilia that I talked about. But I'm going to go ahead and keep these because they're iconic, pretty much. I have the Kosas Revealer foundation, which I don't really recommend. It is kind of heavy looking on my skin, so I don't wear this unless it's for video purposes. Love this Glossier foundation. I feel like this is so underrated. Not enough people talk about this foundation. It's definitely a must-have for me. This normally would go in my drawers. I don't know how it ended up here, but that's okay. It's the True to Skin Natural Glow Foundation. Really lightweight on the skin. I enjoy this one a lot. The MAC Studio Radiance. I've been loving MAC recently. This shade is a little bit light on me, and I think sometimes it can look a little bit dry, but it's still a decent foundation. And I'm not the biggest fan of the liquid foundations from Bare Minerals. I'll talk about a concealer later in today's video that I love from them. These aren't my favorite, but again, I do review Bare Minerals a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and hold on to these, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend these. So like I said, I'm not decluttering a ton. Let's see how much I've ended up decluttering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 actually. That's pretty good, but these are all that I'm going to get rid of or find a new home for. And I'm gonna restock my foundation bar now with these, but that's good. We're nice and cleansed. I know what I have. And then in case you wanted an individual view, these are the 13 foundations from my foundation bar that I'm decluttering. Now we're gonna get into more like the skin tint side of things. As you can see, I got all types of things here too. All right, skin tints, tinted moisturizers, and a lot of the squeezy tube packaging is what was in these two drawers. So the first thing that I see that I'm gonna get rid of, this was like the beginning of the TikTok era, the Good Apple foundation from KVD. While I still love the liquid one, I am going to declutter this one. It is simply old. I have two of the Danessa Myricks Obsolete products, which I think are better for more oily skin, but I do keep this because I cover Danessa a lot in my collection. I do have a lot, like a lot of different IT Cosmetics products. I love IT Cosmetics, but let's see which ones I need to get rid of. I need to get rid of one of these, not because they're bad, just simply because I don't need two shades. So I'm going to keep Fairlight and get rid of the deeper shade. And then we of course have the original, which again I'm going to keep Fairlight. Light I feel like has been a little too deep for me lately. And then I'm going to hold on to the natural CC Matte. So I have one of each formula. I do love the classic Dior Backstage foundation. This one is so lovely. This is new, however it is the older formulation, as you can tell, because the C is missing, but it's still perfectly good. I'm gonna give this to one of my friends this weekend since I have the other ones. Fenty Skin Tinted Moisturizer. This is really nice. Gives almost no coverage, but that's kind of the point. I don't know how it happened, honestly, that I have 3 different of these Ilia foundation sticks. I'm gonna get rid of the deepest one because that one's definitely not gonna work for me. We'll hold on to the Too Faced Born This Way Healthy Glow Skin Tint. I don't know, I feel like not enough people talk about this. I think that this is really nice. This, though, happens to be pretty much my all-time favorite skin tint from Danessa Myricks here. It is incredible. I don't love the Super Goop, but I do review Super Goop often, so we'll hold on to that. This is new to my collection. I think Jones Road did a great job with their tinted moisturizer. I think it's really high quality. These are one of my all-time favorites. I mixed these 2 shades, but the Dr. Jart BB, what is it, like a skin tint situation? These are simply the best. I mean, probably the best in all of these drawers. I love these. I have the Laura Mercier products. I know that this one right here, the packaging that's more flat, this is discontinued, so we'll get rid of that. But I do want to keep the Blurred Matte and the Dewy Tinted Moisturizer. Love these Age 20s. These are like, it's a cream foundation, I would say. Super duper beautiful on the skin. So keeping these. I have the Hailey's Beauty foundations, which are really beautiful, that I'm going to keep. And you guys know I don't love the Hydro Grip from Milk, but it is a very popular product. So we hold on to it for that reason. But if this was a personal collection, I would get rid of that. I am going to declutter these Florasis cushion foundations. I just don't need them. I don't reach for them very often. I have all of my Tiers, which I love all of these for different reasons. We'll just kind of push them to the side. I don't love the ABH skin tint stick. I find it sits on top of the skin, but hold on to it. I do very much enjoy the Bosma foundation stick. It blends into the skin beautifully. And this is another product that's very underrated that I really love from Sigma. Sigma as a brand can be hit or miss for me, but they do have a couple products that I think are so good. Like their hydrating tint is incredible. I don't love the Kosas BB Burst Tinted Gel Cream. It's okay. I definitely don't need 2 different shades. So I think I'll keep the light neutral, and then I'll get rid of the deeper one. But I still want the formula on hand. I do like the Super Smooth Skin Tint from Iconic London. This is very nice. And then I also do really enjoy the Fenty Beauty skin tint. In fact, I do find these to be pretty underrated. But as you can see, I'm just more pale now in general, so I'm getting rid of the deeper one because 6 is a pretty good match for me. I like this so much better than this stick from Fenty Beauty. This just doesn't do it for me. So I'm gonna keep it just to have it because it's in the line, but I don't love it. And then also, you guys know how I feel about this Glossier skin tint. It is like tinted water, but with no tint, really, at all. So I don't recommend that. I have 2 for some reason of the Jane Iredale Tinted Serum, which I'm trying to learn to love. I'm not there yet. Interesting. This one, light to medium, looks a little weird to me, like almost foggy. So I'm going to get rid of that, but I'll hold on to this one. This is really nice just for everyday. I loved this summer from Merit, the Uniform Tinted Mineral Sunscreen, obviously tinted. I'm going to get rid of this from Smashbox. It's just a forgettable product. The Halo Glow Tinted Moisturizer. Not bad, just forgettable. And then I have, these look gross, but I have my Hourglass Veil products. I love the skin tint. These are one of the best skin tints. They're up there with like my Danessa Myrix. So I'm going to keep both of these. Well, I'll get rid of the deeper one because it will oxidize on me. The Illusion, I was so disappointed when this one came out. It's a fine product, but it's just not nearly as good as this one. But anyways, we have the Slip Tint, which I quite enjoy from Say. I think there's a lot of mixed reviews on this, but I think it's nice. This one from One Size, the Turn Up the Base, I find to be a bit heavy on my skin, but it is quite full coverage. And the Bounce Foundation from Beauty Blender is quite nice. It's quite full coverage. I think it sits really beautifully on the skin. However, I don't need it anymore in my collection, so I am going to declutter that. We have the Tower 28 Sunny Days Tinted Sunscreen. This is okay. I don't mind it. We have the Iris and Romeo, which is a fairly new brand at Sephora. I think it's slowly starting to gain a little bit more momentum. This is their dewy coverage. It doesn't give very, very much, but it's great for really natural. I've been enjoying this and products like this since I've gotten pregnant, since I don't want too much on my skin. This has been nice to throw on, and because I'm lazy, let's be real. I've been tired and lazier. Then we have the Makeup Forever Super Boost Skin Tint. This is okay, nothing to write home about. I do really like the Lisa Eldridge. Unfortunately, I have a shade that's way, way, way too light for me, so I can't enjoy it to the fullest, but the formula, so, so, so good. I didn't realize I had 2 different shades. Well, I'm gonna get rid of light 2 because I don't like this enough to have it in 2 different shades, to put it simply. I want the formula in my collection, but I don't need 2 shades of them. Okay, we have the Born This Way Soft Matte Foundation. This is decent from Too Faced. I think Too Faced has a pretty solid formula under their line when it comes to foundations. I do like this. And not enough people talk about this for my liking. I love this Urban Decay foundation. It's their Face Bond foundation, and it's always on 50% off. I hope they never discontinue it because it's so, so good, but they might. Signs are there. Then we have this from Bobbi Brown. This is the Vitamin Enriched Face Base, which I simply held in my collection because I hated it so much, but I think we can get rid of it, but I still freaking hate this. This is one of the worst things I've ever put on my skin. Not even being dramatic. And then I have a couple of the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer. I don't know if these are different, but I think this is older, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I think we've pared this one down well. We'll do the count at the end, but this is all that I'm getting rid of, which I think is really, really good. But let me fill up these drawers. And at the end of it, I ended up getting rid of 17 products from those drawers, which is really, really good. It really does add up, even though the ratio isn't like impressive by any means. This will all add up. So we've gotten rid of almost like 30 already, which is crazy. Okay, concealers are next, which my drawers aren't crazy, but I I would like to go through them, of course, because we still don't have like 4 of them. Okay, lots and lots of concealers, but before I actually get into the concealers, this is my color correcting drawer, and I'm letting you know right off the bat, I'm getting rid of this NARS one because it's leaking. I just don't want that. And I like to keep a pink concealer and a peach corrector, so this one is a little too deep for me from Kosas. I like this. I like this better actually than the concealer version of this, but I just don't need this color. It's a bit too orange for me, and I have plenty of other orange options anyways. And I think that's it really for this drawer. I love, love, love this Sigma. Let me show you actually. I've replaced it recently. That's why it's never been used, but I promise you, I do love this color corrector from Sigma. It works really well. The Cali Ray is good and sheer. I love the Natasha Denona one. It's nice and milky. And the Huda Beauty one I don't have too much experience with, honestly, because I tend to reach for these guys over here. And then I also have this Lisa Eldridge concealer stick. And then these Jones Road ones, I can't decide, do I need all 4 of these? Definitely not, but I like these for little natural makeup days to pair with like a skin tint. So I'm just gonna leave these here. Different colors for different parts of the face. Hold on, let's see. Maybe shade 9 is a little too deep. Okay, so I'll actually get rid of shade 7, and I'll keep these other 2 shades. So got 3 out of the color correction drawer. So concealers, you'll notice for multiple concealers, I have multiple shades of the same concealer, but for me, that is so necessary because I don't use concealer just for like one shade. I use sometimes to brighten. I want it sometimes closer to my skin tone. Sometimes I want it for all over the face, so it needs to add to my skin tone. Sometimes I have a concealer that's too light and a concealer that's too dark, and I like to mix them and customize. So that's my explanation as to why, for example, I have 4 of these Fenty's. However, I don't need 4 of these. We're even from Fenty because these are all quite close to each other. I like this concealer. It's very hydrating. It just doesn't have the best wear time. It does crease a little bit, so I'm debating which one I want to keep. I'll get rid of 150, because I have 140N, 225N, and 200. Well, I can also actually get rid of 200, and I can just keep the light and the more skin tone version. So 4 is a little extra, except maybe not when it comes to Jane Iredale's concealer, because this is a favorite of mine, because I love to, again, mix. I have 7W, 6N, 2N is the lightest, 4N is the best. I think I'll get rid of 6 just because it's a bit excessive, but I'm still keeping 3. I love how creamy that one is. I don't use the Lancome Serum Concealer too much. I'm gonna have to use this more. I do have 2 shades of the IT Cosmetics Do It All. However, light neutral is just a little too deep for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep light cool. But this is a nice concealer, and it's a new concealer. I do love this Huda Beauty concealer. It's more on the matte side, but it's very, very perfecting, and it has minimal creasing. This Too Faced Born This Way one, I have 2 of them. One in light beige, which is more skin tone, and then one in vanilla, which is more of my under eye shade. So I'm holding on to both of those. That's like a staple concealer of mine. I have 2 YSL All Angles concealer. Again, this is one of those concealers where I got them in a PR package, and neither are really my perfect shade. So I mix these to get what I need. This is an okay concealer. It's not an all-time favorite. I used to mess so heavy and hard with this Tom Ford concealer. It was one of those concealers that melted into the skin right away, and I've held on to it for so long because I paid a pretty penny for it, but this formulation is definitely expired. It just doesn't have the same wear time, so we're gonna get rid of that. This is one of my all-time favorite concealers for events. This is the Naked Quickie from Urban Decay, long-lasting, full coverage. Definitely need both of those in my life. I sound crazy, but you gotta get it. This LYS Triple Fix Concealer, they have their new one that's actually in my filming studio right now, but this one is definitely too deep for me, so I'm going to get rid of this, and if I ever need a new one, I just need to get a better shade, because I can look at this and tell you this has no value to my collection with it being such an off shade. I have two of the Armani Luminous Silk Concealers, really just a classic, really lightweight. Sometimes I'll put it all over my skin. So keep both of those. The same one travels a bit. I don't really love this one, but I do keep it for review purposes. This is actually an old, I just realized, Luminous Silk Concealer that I'm going to get rid of because I have these two. This is the old packaging. I have not used this Too Faced concealer in a while. It's more of a illuminating concealer. Okay, this is my Tarte Shape Tape collection, which comes in and out of my life for multiple reasons. But does this always happen to you? I feel like my original Tarte Shape Tape, which by the way I do use often in videos, it always oxidizes like this, which is just not good. So I am going to get rid of this one and eventually have to repurchase it again because it's relevant for a video, but it is what it is. I also have a couple of the ultra creamy formulas. Which one is this one? This is the Radiant, right? So we'll hold on to the Radiant. These are both creamy, but this is the better shade, but this one is like nicer and newer. See my dilemma here? Like, this is more of my skin tone shade. I like the creamy. I do. Makeup by Mario will definitely keep. This is a more full coverage one. Iconic London. Do I have another one? I thought I did. Maybe not, but this is a really, really creamy concealer. It's quite lovely. They also have this one, which I think probably should go in the color correction drawer. These are interesting because one side is actually a color corrector, and they're very, very nice. Let's see. We have Dior Backstage Concealer, which is okay. I think it's a bit overrated. These Dominique Cosmetic concealers are super duper nice. They're very, very creamy. They have a cooling tip applicator. I do enjoy them, but I just don't think I need them in my collection for work purposes, which sounds stupid to say. I do enjoy them, but I have a lot of concealers that I enjoy right now. I just don't need this. So I'd rather give it away while they're still usable to my friends coming this weekend, so that's why I want them to have it, because it's a good formula. I have two of the Makeup Forever HD Skins. These are okay. I like the different shades, and I love the Kulfi. This is such an underrated concealer. Not a huge fan of the Rephr. In fact, it's been a while since I've used it, but they say it's like anti-crease. It's not at all. I've never been a big fan of the Hourglass concealer, even though it's pretty much like a cult favorite of so many, but I just have never fallen in love with it. I don't know. Valentino Beauty. This one is nice. I feel like it's a little thin, but I do like it. House Labs is one of the best. So that. I mix both of these from Estee Lauder. It's their Double Wear Concealer. Though I don't think it's really reminiscent of the Double Wear foundation. I think the foundation version is better than this. But anyways, very thick, very full coverage. This is probably my #1 all-time favorite concealer, I would say. Natasha Denona High Glam, and each of these shades have a home and a use for me. So we'll keep those. This is such an oldie, the Touche Eclat from YSL. I keep it for the nostalgia. I just remember being a little girl and my mom having this in her collection. And then I have these Merit sticks, which are very, very lovely. This one probably, it always makes a mess, so I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna go ahead and keep the ochre shade, which I use for all over. I use the shade Linen on my under eyes, but I always drop it everywhere because it comes out, so I'll need to replace that eventually. This is another favorite of mine, the Tower 28 it's not Make Waves, that's their mascara, the Serum Concealer, and it literally is like a serum. Again, each shade has a place and a reason. I probably don't need 0.5 and 1, right? We'll just do the one in between. I'll get rid of that. Even though I'm okay with having multiple shades of a concealer, if I don't love it, then I'm like, okay, I don't need 5 of them. One of my all-time favorite concealers of the moment. I have a lot of favorites, but it's this one from MAC, the Studio Radiance, super duper creamy. Not a huge fan of the Kosas concealer, but it is so popular that it's really relevant for me to have, but it creases on me. I think it's overrated. All of these are beautiful in their own way. Love these. NARS Radiant Creamy, obviously, one of the best. Bare Minerals, such an underrated concealer. It does not crease and it's great for oily skin. And then really buttery but full coverage from One Size. We also have the Weightless Long Wear Concealer from Hailey's Beauty. They have another one that I'm about to mention that I like better than this one. So I'll just put this away because I'll pull these out here. I love their Rewind Blurring Full Coverage Concealer. These are so good. So I'm holding on to these. Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin, another incredible creamy concealer. I love it when it's creamy and kind of like medium to full coverage, but doesn't crease. We have the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Concealers. Not as good as the foundation, if you ask me, but I'm a mix between these two shades. I find the Lawless Concealer to be a bit on the dry side, not a favorite of mine. This from Espresso is really beautiful, really buttery, but I have to put my work first. I have so many others that I love anyways, so I'm gonna give this to my friends, but it's a beautiful concealer. And then these are so underrated. These are like the under eye brighteners from Fenty Beauty, but they do not crease at all. Incredible. And then Milk Makeup. This is such a good concealer. When it first came out, I remember it was like the only concealer that I liked for a year. And then that brings us to pot concealers. So NARS Creme Brulee. Love this. This one is old though, and I actually just recently repurchased a new fresh one. This is a staple. I have to have this in my collection at all times, but it will be refreshed and replaced, so we can get rid of that. The Rem Beauty Concealer. This is a decent pot concealer. I don't like it on the under eyes, but it's great for spot concealing. Typically, pot concealers I don't enjoy on the under eyes, except for this one from Glossier. This is like a very stretchy concealer, as they call it, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Highly recommend this one. And then we also have RMS Beauty, which I just feel bad because I won't talk about it a lot in videos, so it won't get used. It's not a bad concealer at all, but since it's fairly new, I'd rather give it away while it's still usable to my friends. So that's it. We're keeping all of this, and then I'll show you what I ended up decluttering. As far as organizing, I'm gonna put my pot concealers and squishy concealers, just a little less traditional style packaging, in this drawer. And then the rest I'll put in between these two. We'll do, I guess, luxury. And then I ended up decluttering 19 concealers, which is really good. That did freshen up some space in these drawers. So that is it for the foundation and concealer declutter. I think we did a pretty good job. The drawers are looking fresh. Stay tuned because next declutter is going to be primers, setting powders, and setting sprays. So thank you guys so much for watching this declutter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed because I have a lot more coming your way. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.
It's delicious.